Well, hello and welcome everybody on today's presentation. It's Saturday. I'm in beautiful Europe and Germany at the moment, so very welcome to everybody on joining us actually on this Saturday. I know for some of you guys it's very early morning, so I appreciate you coming on board, and some of you it's actually very late evening already. So we see we have lots of people coming from different places. It's great to see you. Hi Janella, hi James, Len, Martha, hi Brian, great to have you here. Hi Len, Norman, why so many people, Reggie, all great to have you here on board. Erica, fantastic, and many people more joining. Hi Malcolm. And yes, you see here the voice of William appearing, but it's actually Claudia. So my name is Claudia Eifert, and I'm usually hosting this presentation. Bill Rowell is going to come on board in a little while. He's just actually arrived back from Dubai, so he's definitely going to join us on today's call. So that is really great. But for all the new people here on board, which is a lot of people coming on board, I know you're getting excited with the new products which are coming very soon, which you may have heard through the grapevine, or I don't know. So it's going to be very exciting. But I want to just give you a quick run over what we're going to do. So we will, in this next few minutes, of course, as always, we're going to talk about Swissquote Global. We're going to talk about what it's in for you. What is Swissquote Global? How can you actually work or benefit from Swissquote Global? And then we will take some Q&As at the end of this presentation. So if you have some particular questions which have not been answered through this webinar, please put them in the little chat box, and we are very happy to answer these questions. Of course, always if we can answer these questions. And otherwise, you can always send an email to contact@swissquoteglobal.com. But again, for all these people joining right now, thank you so much for coming on board on this Saturday and for taking out the time to actually listen to what we have on store or in store for you here with Swissquote Global. And myself, I have been with Swissquote Global since, gosh, it's over 10 years. So time is certainly flying. I cannot believe. And I know I have some, I wouldn't say old folks, but you know, old folks in the business on the call here today who have been, some of you even prior to me, basically somehow or the other engaged with our, of course, parent company, so to speak. It's great to have you on board. I mean, Brian, I'm talking to you, I believe, you know, you have been really early stage, just like myself in Swissquote Global. But that doesn't mean for all the new folks coming on board and listen maybe for the first time that it is too late to get in. No, definitely that is not the case. But yeah, so what, as I said, myself, just to give a little bit of an overview, so I have been involved at a long time with Swissquote Global, and I met the founder and CEO, Bill Rowell, in my prior company where I worked for support. I actually managed the, the customer support, being the the good to-go person, I would say, for a billion-dollar company that is in the network marketing space. So I'm certainly very familiar with network marketing. Of course, it was more on the nutritional side, but our CEO and our founder had a very, very large organization as of sort of his side business to all the other businesses he actually also had under his sleeve. So you see, Bill Rowell, the CEO of Swissquote Global, certainly a very successful entrepreneur. And because of my long relationship with Bill, but also because where I come from personally, and I actually, my very young age, I did escape East Germany because I was in the search certainly of freedom to travel, or freedom of speech, or freedom, you know, to do what I would like to do, and that wasn't given living actually beyond the Iron Curtain. And so I did escape with my mother and my sister, very, very early years, East Germany, when it was still, of course, beyond or under the Iron Curtain. And so I then, through my career, worked in several things, and then, of course, ended up in working in this billion-dollar company, network marketing company, where I met Bill. And the story is basically that I was working really hard and thought, gosh, how can you work so hard? And then you saw on the other side all these people who were speaking on those events, and it seemed like so easy, and they made so much money where I could just dream of. And it was like, oh, this is so unfair somehow. I mean, you work really hard and you have a second job and a third job, because I had that. So after my work, I would actually go on to the next job. And I wouldn't finish there until, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, only to be 7 a.m. In my next job. And even the weekends, I would work on a third job. Why? Well, to have a better life, to maybe be able to afford another holiday, and so on. And so I never really understood, to become an entrepreneur. I never really understood money. I never understood really what the wealthy people did. And that is what I started to learn through Bill and through his association with, of course, the go-to book too, which I always talk about, Stories of a Desk of a Bullion Banker, that is Philip Judge, which really was the foundation of Swiss Gold Global. And when Bill asked me, Claudia, I'm going to found this company, Swiss Gold Global. And I had now learned a little bit about gold, silver. I had learned a little bit about oil and gas, and of what the wealthy did. For me, it was just a no-brainer. I said, I'm going to join because, hey, all what you touch turns into gold, and certainly what these guys did is gold. So, and I knew from my past history that gold, is of course, the best hedge against inflation. And that's how I got involved. I certainly didn't doubt, absolutely not, because I knew I would be learning from the best. And since then, I would never look back. Of course, it has its challenges. Nothing is easy, very important. Entrepreneurship is not easy. But the great thing is that if you understand money, if you learn to understand what really money is, and then, of course, if you do the right adjustments, and if you don't get too greedy, and you have a system, a vehicle, which actually can teach you, can show you how to accumulate wealth, that's what we do here, and how to get paid daily, weekly, and monthly. And if you learn how to become a network marketing professional, then of course you can build a generational wealth in gold, silver, and of course we talk about cryptocurrency, very important, because we do believe that is somehow the future of money. Now, it's very early stage yet, but certainly there's lots of things, great things happening in that space. So with that, the man behind, of course, the vision is Bill Rao, as you see, and he established Swiss Gold Global in 2008, and the company now is operating in many, many countries all over the world. He himself is a licensed precious metals dealer in the DMCC in Dubai, so he works, of course, there, and that's why he just came back from Dubai again. So the precious metals, they come all from Argo Heraeus, that is the largest refinery in the world. They do this, and they do also beautiful items like these, collectibles, and they do over 20% of the world's annual gold refining. It's a LBMA referee refinery, means they certify other refineries for their purity and standards. And since 2016, we ventured into crypto mining, which is a very interesting space, has his ups and downs, has his challenges like everything. Since 2016, we offered these services. We stopped these services in July 2018, and simply because of the reason the market at the moment is a little bit in a turbulence. That means it's not going to end, certainly not. It's just a little bit in a turbulence. And we actually started building some other great products, which are going to come very soon. So I just put it very quick there so that you can't really see it, but it's coming very, very soon. And in November 2018, actually, we're gonna have the company rebranded, and we will launch our gold and silver token, and as well our do a pre-launch of our asset token. So I mentioned a little bit oil and gas in there myself. I ventured into oil and gas back then in 2007, basically through Bill and through the amazing person which soon we will have in our events speaking, who is a professional in oil and gas since over 2.5 decades, something like that. But let's get to the presentation now, since you know a little bit about Swissco Global. I would like to always start this presentation with a little bit of thinking to do. Because that is what we should do in order to actually look at our life, where we at and where we want to go. Because you got to ask yourself the question, have you ever thought about what it actually would mean to own your life? I know a lot of people, they're coming to today's presentations, they want to learn new things, they want to get maybe an easy way out of their situation, they want to make money and so many other things. But the question is really, have you ever thought what it actually would mean? What would it mean to own your life? Well, when you subtract out the sleeping time, the commuting time, working time, and time for all the things you have to do each and every day, most people, they have just 1 or 2 hours a day to do what they like to do. But then do they really have the money for doing what they would like to do? And the answer is, what I get all over the world, and we're traveling all the time. I'm soon up to travel to India for my first time. So I'm really literally traveling all over the world, all continents. And anytime I ask this question, people would say no. They don't. They don't have the money to actually would like to do what they want to do. I remember I was in this, of course, somehow rat race many years ago myself. So I would make money, yes, with my 1, 2, 3 different jobs. But then would I stop that? There wouldn't be more money coming in. And I didn't have time because I was basically there working non-stop and hardly sleeping. And that was just my life. And I know that's for many people, that's their life. They're working, working, working just to realize, where has the time gone? Did I really do the things I would like to do? Could I really do them? So reality is, world's richest 1% of people, they actually now own half of the global wealth. And out of those 1%, okay, out of those 1% of the people, the wealthiest 10%, they actually, which is, of course, they own 87.8% of global wealth. That 1% out of this the 10% out of this 1% of people, okay, they own 87.8% of the global wealth. I mean, this is staggering. That is crazy. That is not healthy. It's certainly not healthy. And that is certainly not a thing I did escape for, because that wasn't certainly the time when I did that. Of course, like 28, almost 30 years ago, time were different. Of course, the middle class had a little bit more money, didn't they? But now we see, of course, the gap is just widening and widening more and more. So the poorest half of the world's population, which is 3.5 billion people, they own just 2.7% of global wealth. And of course, this grew faster in the last year than at any time since 2010. We're just talking 2010. That is only 8 years. What happened in 2010? Or 9 and 8? Remember Lehman Brothers and all the banking and the crisis? But this is just 8 years, reaching a total of 280 trillion. So whilst, of course, the ultra wealthy, they have 10% of global GDP stashed in tax havens, and of course, it's making inequality worse than it actually appears. And we see, of course, company owners such as Jeff Bezos from Amazon. He's making a staggering 11 million an hour. What does he need all the money for? One would thought, right? Well, the lowest paid Amazon worker gets $12. So, I mean, why don't these people, those rich billionaires, why don't they put a little bit more on, raising actually the Amazon workers' wages? Did you know that many Amazon workers actually in the US, they live on food stamps? Well, they have to live on food stamps because their salary is not enough. Yet you see the guy on top, of course, he has a lot of responsibility, but the thing is, it is just not healthy anymore. It's not healthy for nobody. And so when was the last time you, and I talk to you, sat down and you figured out actually the following: how long will you live? What income would you actually need to live your desired life? And when do you want to retire? At what age do you actually want to retire? And how many years does it give you to finance actually your retirement? You know, you should really write those questions down because you have to have a plan. And in retirement, do you want to make less than you do now, or more than you do now, or the same? So I really would like to have you write these questions down, because these questions, once you can answer them, and once you have your plan, then you can actually, you know, basically go out and make that plan come through. But if you don't know where you are, it is very hard to actually get there. So when we look at a traditional 40-year career, which of course what we know, what we are used to, what we know, well, the ruling paradigm is, of course, to work 40 years to retire on 1/3, okay, what is not even enough during those 40 years. So how can we live on 1/3 if it wasn't even enough? And we see most people, they live paycheck to paycheck. They don't have just 2 or 3 or 4 paychecks. If they would, let's say, have no job, they just could, you know, get by. They couldn't. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. But what happens, of course, when you're gonna retire? See, the average lifespan yet in many developed countries is 75 years. And you could ask yourself the question, how much will it actually cost you to survive those extra 10 years, which is 520 weeks? What would it cost you? What's your plan? Let's say if you are fine with a $500 a week, you know, paycheck, that would be an extra 10 years, $260,000 you need to have stacked away in savings. $1,000 a week, well, you got to have $520,000 stacked away in savings. Do you have that? Where are you at? Do you have a plan for that? Have you actually factored in inflation? Well, you see, while the money you earn is losing its purchasing power, everything that you're buying is actually costing more. Did you realize? It just in 1998, you know, you could, with $20, you could still, you know, get a good shopping basket full. But in 2005, with that same $20, you know, only half of a shopping basket or even less. And of course, in 2018, you hardly get nothing actually with $20 anymore. So are you making that much dollars more from 98 to 2018? That's 20 years. Are you earning double or triple the income that you did earn then, or no? If the answer is no, well, you got to seriously look at something else. We look at the purchasing power of the consumer dollar. It's very clear here. When the dollar was first created from the Federal Reserve to now, of course, the dollar has lost more than 96% of its purchasing power, of its value. So actually, $1 note is only worth in purchasing power 4 cents. That is 4 cents. And you see, it has constantly going down and going down. In fact, Jamie Rogers, one of the bigger investors of course, from the US, he says the US dollar is just a few years away from losing global dominance. And the problem really lays, of course, in the printing of money. So what really happens is when you print 8.3 trillion with a T in money and only get actually 2.1 trillion in growth, that is somehow worrying, isn't it? They always talk about all this growth which is happening. I mean, even in Germany, everybody just talks about growth. We are growing the economy. Do we really? Well, didn't we print just 8.3 trillion in money? So what happened to the extra 6.2 trillion in printed money? Well, the answer is that it went into assets, stocks, bonds, emerging markets, debt, and real estate have all been pumped up by central bank money printing, monetary printing. So we see, of course, we have a huge stock market rise, of course, since the markets fell, of course, 2008, 9, 10, until now. It just has been going up, just up like crazy. But all the market indicators right now, what do they actually do? They look very, very similar to what we actually saw before the Lehman crisis. But of course, you know, time passes on. In what's happening, actually, everybody, of course, doesn't remember anymore Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers? Who was Lehman Brothers? I remember very well. I actually lived at a time in Frankfurt, and I lived in Frankfurt in the Deutschherrenufer. That is exactly in front where the central bank was built, the new central bank, and that's in Frankfurt on the beautiful Main River. And I lived precisely in the quarter where Lehman Brothers guys were. Well, when Lehman Brothers happened, well, all of a sudden you saw all those furniture, those people taking furnitures out, all those trucks coming and taking the furnitures, and all those Porsche guys and Ferrari and Mercedes and Lamborghini guys, all of a sudden they changed their car, and it was like, and so many people moving out. Well, Lehman Brothers, of course, couldn't finance anymore their lifestyle. So what really happening is it's the death of the global dollar standard. You know, when the end of Bretton Woods happened, it caused, of course, the entire world to have the US dollar as the reserve currency of the world. That's what's happening now. Any goods and services I want to purchase, as I say in every webinar, let's say from Brazil, well, I have euro here. They have to be first converted into the US dollar, and from the US dollar into the real. So then, of course, when we went of the Bretton Woods system, which had, of course, peaked the dollar to the gold, well, there was a special deal actually made with Saudi Arabia and, of course, the OPEC, the oil countries, called the petrodollar, where they all agreed on the only price and sell the oil for the US dollar. And then, of course, Saudi Arabia, what they did is they made a secret deal to reinvest all of the proceeds from selling their oil in US treasuries. And the global standard, of course, was stable from the year 1971 onwards till the year 2000, roughly. And then, of course, if you remember, Saddam Hussein, he announced to price and sell the oil for what? For euros. And then, of course, that was the beginning of course, the challenge to the global dollar standard. And then, of course, the next person or the next thing what we know was, of course, Gaddafi, when he announced that he was only going actually to sell the price of oil for euros and for gold. What, of course, we know what's happening to Gaddafi. And then, of course, now, well, we have digital currencies attacking the global US dollar standard. And, of course, the attack really the Western dominance. And that's not only, of course, the Venezuelan petrodollar, the Russian crypto, the North Korean or Iran crypto. The problem is really the centralization of these as they really take further the control away from you. And so basically, if they do not like you, that's what's happening. I mean, I just heard a speech which was really great recently from, well, it wasn't recently, it was a little bit longer ago, a few months back, when he still could talk, from Julian Assange, which was pretty good. So, but basically, with that said, they can, if they do not like you, they can switch you off, at which then, of course, it will be a giant loss of freedom if all these countries start to create their own centralized currencies. And the world order, of course, is actually what you're going to see in those next slides, changing right before your eyes. And this disruptive digital currency is actually what it's doing. It is disrupting the status quo. And that is why actually we must acquire gold, we must acquire silver, and we must acquire decentralized cryptocurrency now. Now we got to get into it. Decentralized cryptocurrency. And that is why we talk about it. I hope I can help you with that and make it clear why you have to have it. I mean, we see this currency war can end this global US dollar dominance, and those, of course, who own gold have power. We see India getting rid of US Treasury securities, and what they do? Well, of course, they buy gold. Why do they buy gold? Because gold always has been the best hedge against inflation. Switzerland chooses gold bullion over paper wealth backed by US dollar. We see the US Big Three agree to establish dollarless trade with Iran. Russia and India seek to boost trade, switch to national currency. They don't want to have the US dollar dominance anymore. Small Asian nations dump dollar and yuan for gold amid growing global trade hostilities. So why gold and silver? Well, gold has held its value for thousands of times. Of course, I always talk about that. In Roman times, for an ounce of gold, which is a little bit bigger than that, because this is only a shekel, a full shekel. In Roman times, for 1 ounce of gold, you could actually trust yourself. You could do the same 100 years ago, and you could do the same today. But 100 years ago, for this ounce of gold, you could actually get it for 20 bucks. Those 20 bucks today, if you would have saved that instead of the gold, what could you do with $20 today? Not really nothing. Same goes here. If you had 50 years ago $3,500, you wouldn't have done nothing with it. You would just kept the 3,500 bucks. Well, today, of course, let's say, well, 3,500 bucks, so you still have the same if you would have done nothing. But if you would actually have bought gold 50 years ago, you would have got 100 ounces of gold. Okay, 50 years ago, that 100 ounces of gold now towards today, it's $125,000 in comparison. So actually, you see, I mean, it's a huge difference if you were to sell today that gold. The same, of course, is silver. Let's say you had $3,500, didn't do nothing with it, kept the dollars, you have $3,500 worth. But if you had bought silver, you would actually have gotten 50 years ago 2,258 ounces of silver, and that would be today around 40,000 US. So what are you better off, with 40,000 US or 3,500? I guess, of course, with if you would have been better off if you would have bought gold or silver. So either Bitcoin or gold, that's what the Cayman Investment Forum recently said, will represent the future store of value. Now, for me and for you, the question is, would you like to participate in a 170 billion gold market, in a 20 billion silver market, in the 200 at the moment billion cryptocurrency market, and in a 1,720 billion oil industry? Okay, how could you do that? Well, what if you could work 2 to 4 years to build financial freedom for the next 40 years and beyond? Imagine you had a system where you could actually generate residual income, gold, silver, Bitcoin, some other of this stuff, which I put my fingers on because I can't show you yet, and much more. Well, we have a done for you model. It's a business and app, a duplicatable system. We don't sell, we share. You can get started very simple as a customer, start accumulating at the moment your gold or silver plan from 25 bucks onwards. What you do actually buy is real physical gold and silver. It is stored in a big bullion bar. Once you convert it into a product, once you have enough grams together, you can do that, convert it into a product and have it shipped to you. If we ship, of course, to your country, and you get the gold not overpriced, but actually at a 2.97 above market spot price. So we see here the different products we do actually have. So basically all the products which Argo Horizon have. And of course, when you store it, we work with the London Bullion Market chain of integrity. That means, of course, when you have just physical grams, that is actually sitting at the refinery, and once it is actually shipped into the storage facility, that's either Dubai or Loomis, again, that doesn't leave that chain of integrity, meaning if it is sold back, it's sold back basically because it didn't leave the chain of integrity. It doesn't need to be melted down. Only when it is actually shipped outside that chain of integrity, then when you sell it back, it has to be melted down again. And that is an extra process, of course, of doing, but it's no problem either. You can sell your gold back at any time. There's no sellback fee, which is a big and huge selling point, because most companies charge you a lot for sell back your gold and your silver. So there's a zero sellback fee for active members, and non-active members, so customers, only pay 2.97%. And they get, of course, market price, which is really great. How do you get started as an affiliate? Well, we do have currently 5 different affiliate packages. They all are going to be changed once we switch over to the new platform. At the moment in these packages, there is only gold and silver in there. You select the amount you wish to have. But so we have from $170 the minor package up to $5,000 the platinum package. So these are the different packages. They vary just that the minor and silver, they have basically a $50 monthly membership, which you pay each and every month, and you're getting gold or silver currently. And the golden ambassador platinum, they have this $50 monthly already paid upfront for 1 year ahead. It's $600 basically, which they have included in that amount paid upfront for 1 year. And again, they have gold and silver in there. These are going to change, so we're going to put those things in there here, which I can't really show, but yeah, that's what you're going to go and get in there. And of course, other things. What makes us different? Well, what makes us different is we use social marketing versus traditional marketing. Traditional marketing, very simple. It's you know, there's companies, they spend of course billions of dollars, millions, actually billions. I think L'Oreal spends like $6 billion just on advertisement. And social marketing is, of course, when people such as you and me, we share the products and services, and we're going to get paid for sharing the products and services. So it's the most trusted form of marketing is word of mouth. In fact, it was a great interview. And if you follow us on Facebook, it's actually there. It was an amazing interview by Larry King and Eric Worre. Larry King basically had an interview what network marketing is, or affiliate marketing, and Eric Worre explained it very well. So it's really the most trusted form of marketing. It's word of mouth. You like something and you share it. There's 9 ways to make money through Swissquote Global at the moment. That's going to change slightly as well. So we have a customer referral bonus, we have shared revenue, we have uni-level bonus, rank advancement bonus, build to bedrock bonus, ambassador leadership. So many, many bonuses, which I don't need to go into detail. The most important for you is, okay, for your customers, what do you get? And of course, on the shared revenue and the uni-level bonus, which is really the long-term passive income bonus. How we build it is we actually, our customers, they share the business through mobile app, home meetings, launch events. Our customers share the products through online, home meetings, and social media. And when they do that, of course, if somebody comes on board with a affiliate package, you make from $35 up to $500. That's one time for joining with an affiliate package. And of course, if people then, once you start your business, what you do is you refer 3 people and they refer 3, and you earn an extra $1,145. And then we have, of course, the uni-level bonus. So you have this $50 monthly membership or the $600 yearly annual membership. What you, let's say you sponsor somebody, you actually get your first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people or whatever you want to get on board. Well, you're going to make, of course, obviously the fast start bonus, but you also make in uni levels and an enroller bonus. And that uni level pays you in the different levels you enroll them. It could be you, of course, that you join one person, that this one person joins another 5. And those 5 join another 5, 4, 3, whatever. So this is your levels. This would be your level 1. That would be your level 2. And it pays actually up to 7 levels. 5% on each level. 5% of what? 5% of the $50 monthly or the $600 annual. Okay, and that is the uni level bonus, pays 5% of level 1 up to level 7. Now we have also an enroller bonus of 10%, which pays level 1 and level 2. So that means, let's say you sponsor that person and you sponsor, and this person sponsor that person, you got an extra 10%. 10% of what? Of that $50 monthly. Okay, that is your uni level and enroller bonus. Then we have, of course, rank achievement bonus. So once you achieve a rank, well, you're going to get a extra dollar bonus or a golden lifestyle product. So what do you have to do in order to get started? Well, step 1 is sign up and do your KYC. Step 2 is select the package you wish to enroll with. Step 3, launch the business within 24 to 48 hours. Talk to the person who invited you today to this presentation and help them get you started. Help them get your questions answered. Okay? If they don't know how to answer, they, I'm sure, know who can answer them for you. And of course, you can also send an email to contact@swissquoteglobal.com. 4, become your own customer. 5, get your first paycheck. And 6, of course, register for that next event. Register for that next event. When is this next event? Well, on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. That is 8 o'clock Germany. That is 7 o'clock UK. And that is, I believe, 2 p.m. New York time. Well, we do have another webinar overview. And again, invite people to that presentation, because that's where you're going to learn. That is what, of course, we do in order to help you get started and learn more about Swissquote Global. And with that on, just want to check quickly if we actually have our founder and CEO on the call, if he could actually made it or if he didn't make it. So 1 second here. Oscar there, we have Bill there. Hi, Bill. Hi, Brian. Hi, Erica. So I'm not sure if he is actually there. Don't see him yet. I think he has arrived most certainly. Let me just quickly check if he's gonna come on board. 1 second. Bear with me, and meanwhile, I'm gonna look at your question. 1 second. Just doing a little chat message here. Okay, I'm not that multitask that I can chat, send messages, and talk. So let me see, we have some questions here, guys. Okay, when are the new products going to come out? Okay, great question. Well, as I said in the beginning of the presentation, maybe you haven't been there, George, but as I said in the beginning of this presentation, we looking for actually the 1st of November to switch over the website now. That's the ultimate status or ultimate what we have. That is for that. And yes, it's going to be, we have a gold silver token. And we're going to have the other one, which of course has to do with assets. So let me look at some more questions here, guys. And I'm going to just see quickly if Bill has actually answered me yet or not. No, he hasn't. Okay, so let me, more questions. Where can you get the book? Okay, great question. So the book, we actually sell this since ages for the back office. It's called Stories from the Desk of a Bullion Banker, and it is more valuable ever than it was when it actually came out. It's a great book. We sell it in our back office. You just need to go to the store inside your back office, and this is where you can actually order that book. It's a great book. It doesn't just talk about gold, silver, it talks about overall economy, and it talks about certainly oil and gas. It's a really great book, a really great personal written book with all the challenges which globally occur in banking and so on. So very, very good. If you want to gain more knowledge, you should basically get it. Let me see another question coming here. Okay, well, on the $197 miner package, will the crypto portion be substituted with gold or silver? Yes, all the packages have been substituted already with gold and silver. So we had mining before that in it. We don't have that anymore, as you do know. And yes, they have been since July being substituted. So they still call miner. Yes, the 179, they will be reframed once we switch over, but simply because it's a lower entry package for people. So especially for the people all over, in those, not all over the world, but in many parts where it's a little bit more challenging to enter with $250 or maybe with $700. So we have 179, start fee actually to become to own your business. That's really what you get, isn't it? You own your business. Okay, let me see if there's more question coming here. Okay, let me see. Okay, unfortunately, I don't see Bill coming onto the presentation, so I guess he's not. I know he landed already, so I mean, but he has still some way to get back to his place. So he just landed actually from Dubai before that webinar, so probably he's not coming on board because he's not answering me, and he would usually answer quicker there. So if I have no more questions coming, guys, then thank you for coming on board. Thank you to listen to the presentation, and I hope to see you on our further presentation again. Talk to the person who invited you to this presentation, ask them all the questions you can, and get started. It's going to be very exciting the next few months coming. It's lots of things to do, and I believe it's going to be very, very great. We're certainly going to change the world with what we're going to have. We have big goals, very, very big goals, but again, very important to always diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as we always say. And of course, disclaimer: there's no guarantee for the results. Of course, you're going to get. Of course, the results depending on you. Now we know gold and silver has always been the best hedge against inflation. Cryptocurrency is very volatile. We do believe in it. It's the future. We certainly believe in it, but yet nobody knows where this is going to go. We're most certainly there. And yeah, make the decision to join up. Mamdu is have another question. Yes, hi, Janala. Have a wonderful evening, you too, as well. So if there's no more question, again, thank you guys, and see you soon. Thank you. Have a good Saturday.